Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody. This is Brock Shimano. Today is December 11th, a Wednesday, and we had the markets trading a little bit higher here today. Corn for March trading up 3 1/4 cents. Soybeans for January trading up 5 3/4. Wheat in Chicago up 2 cents, and Kansas City wheat up a half penny. Now this comes on the heels of a WASDE report that was released yesterday. Just as a quick recap, corn ending stocks came in below analyst expectations. That was very positive, but we ended up actually turning a little bit around during the middle of the day. Soybeans coming out a little bit with a surprise to the downside, but not by much, and wheat actually surprising ending stocks to the upside due to surprising Canadian supply. That ended up pushing wheat lower here, but it looks as though today we get a little bit of a rebound. Do you expect this to hold, or do you think we'll continue the trend that we traded yesterday, Brock?
You know, yesterday we were off pretty sharply, especially in that wheat market. Corn and soybeans followed along. I think what we saw today was some bargain hunting. Some funds were getting in there and buying. We saw funds buy 1,000 wheat contracts, 4,000 corn, and about 3,000 soybeans. So I think that propped up the market a little bit here today. Another thing that propped up the corn market early on was a sale to unknown destination of 120,000 metric tons. And then later on, we also got the ethanol production numbers that were once again very strong. And we know yesterday the USDA revised the numbers anticipated for ethanol use of corn up by 50 million bushels. So overall, the ethanol sector has been very supportive of the corn market here recently. If we take a look at the numbers that we did see out today by the EIA, you can see here on this chart, the black line is where we were last year for ethanol production on weekly totals. The red bars are what we were getting this year for weekly totals. Today we saw 944,000 barrels per day produced. That was up 31,000 barrels per day. So that's a significant increase over where we were last week. Continue to be at relatively high levels, and a lot of what's driving the production here is going to be the ethanol margins that we see. If we take a look at the average crush margin for ethanol facilities in Iowa, we're sitting right around $4 per bushel. Very strong numbers there, strongest we've seen this year and probably even further back than that. So that's going to continue to give ethanol producers the incentive to really continue to crush corn at a pretty high rate.
And one of the things I guess I question here too, especially when you look at the chart for corn, you can take a look right here. You'll notice that we've been able to kind of, we put in a little bit of a double bottom here. We talked about this a while back on GrainTV, but we've been able to hang in there, right around the 50-day moving average, kind of tucking right up underneath it. And I think one of the things that kind of concerns me, or I want to kind of warn producers of, is that we had pretty decent demand report here from ethanol. Of course, we had a kind of a bullish surprise here for the WASDE report. That may be enough to get this corn market into a little bit of a short covering rally here going into the end of the year. And I guess what I'm saying is fundamentally we know that there's a lot of corn out there, but this may be enough to spark some of these funds that are holding short positions to exit those positions by the end of the year, lock in potentially those gains or losses, either one. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of resistance from this 50-day moving average. But if we get through that, we could unwind here a little bit and move up toward those highs that we saw back in November.
That's definitely potential, especially heading into the end of the year. We know that the funds are very net short right now. A lot of those profits want to be taken before the end of the year, so we could see that short covering rally. Something else that got revised in yesterday's report was the export sales anticipated for both corn and soybeans. We saw corn move higher by about 50 million bushels. Soybeans higher by about 25 million bushels, and of course tomorrow is Thursday, so we get the export sales report. We take a look at what the average or what the analysts are expecting in tomorrow's report. Another good showing for corn: 600,000 to 750,000 metric tons of export sales anticipated. Soybeans 750 to 950,000, and wheat continue its rather slow pace here over the last few weeks: 300,000 to 500,000 metric tons. And of course, we'll be tweeting those numbers once they do come across the news wires tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds fair enough, guys. That wraps up today's show. And if you have any questions about what we talked about today, give us a call at 877-472-4607. Remember, if you want to trade mobilely now, we do have a mobile app. You can trade it on Android, the tablet, or the iPhone as well. So take a demo of that at grainhedge.com. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here tomorrow.